All right, everyone, welcome and happy National Coming Out Day. My name is David Kilnick. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of the LGBT Network. Our organization provides services all across both counties, Nassau and Suffolk, out in the schools, at our 4 community centers in Woodbury, Bayshore, Sag Harbor, and Patchogue soon. And, today we're proud to stand with our allies in the Suffolk County Legislature, and one of our strongest allies for well over a decade, the presiding officer of the Suffolk County Legislature, Dwayne Gregory. So thank you, Dwayne, for standing here together with us on National Coming Out Day, as over 250,000, 250,000 people today come out for safer spaces for LGBT people. This is the largest campaign that the LGBT Network has ever run. I'm going to talk about it shortly, but as I said, today is the, and shortly is now, today is the 16th Annual National Coming Out Day campaign, the 16th Annual LGBT Network National Coming Out Day campaign. It is a massive community organizing effort for folks to come out for safer spaces where LGBT people live, learn, work, play, and pray. It gets everyone involved. A lot of times when people think about coming out, they just think about coming out as LGBT, but all of our families, all of our mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, uncles, nieces, nephews, co-workers, friends are involved today in making sure that Long Island becomes a more inclusive place and a safe space for Long Island families to live, learn, work, play, and pray. It's the largest campaign we have ever had. This is the first year we expanded it beyond the schools, and we have over 225 businesses, unions, libraries, athletic groups, elected officials, government folks, colleges, universities, and of course many of the school districts and community organizations participating across Long Island today. So I would say no matter where you go in Nassau or Suffolk County, you're going to be able to see someone wearing this rainbow ribbon. And when you see someone wearing this rainbow ribbon, what they are saying is we want to create a safer space, a safer and more inclusive space for our LGBT brothers and sisters in our workplace, in our school, in our unions, in our church, in our synagogue, in our libraries, and et cetera. So as I said, in total, over 250,000 participants are expected today. And it's not only folks across Long Island, but there are other folks who joined our campaign. We don't know how they got the information, but they did. And so today, the LGBT Network on Long Island's National Coming Out Day campaign is truly national. Today, eBay headquarters in San Jose, California, Houston, Texas, Salt Lake City, Hartford, Connecticut are participating. Geico headquarters in Arizona. I don't know why Geico headquarters in Woodbury is not doing it, but we will we will make sure. But Geico headquarters in Arizona is doing it. There are schools in Canada doing it today, a church in South Carolina, a high school in Minnesota. Every single Northwell Health location is participating today across the island. And there are nearly more than 100 school groups that are participating for the first time this campaign has ever been extended out of the schools. So let me just talk briefly about why it is important to come out for safer spaces for LGBT people. And this is the hard data that exists. Only 20% of LGBT seniors in long-term care facilities feel safe being open about their sexual orientation or gender identity. Only 20% of LGBT seniors in long-term care facilities feel safe about being open about their identities. And just 2 days ago, President Trump withdrew a rule that would have provided protection for LGBT seniors in long-term care. And so this is real important, that people come out in all different facilities and workplaces today to make sure that our LGBT seniors feel safe. 58% of LGBT students who were harassed or assaulted in school did not report the incident to the school staff, most commonly because they doubted that effective intervention would occur or the situation would become worse if reported. So here you have 58% of LGBT seniors who are bullied and harassed in school who do not report these incidents because they don't think anything's going to happen about it, or if they do, they're going to be harassed even more and the situation will become worse. Nearly 2/3 of LGBT employees have heard anti-LGBT comments at work. Nearly 2/3 of LGBT employees have heard anti-LGBT comments at work. 98% of LGBT students heard gay used in a negative way at school, such as "that's so gay," or etc., or sometimes even more vulgar. And 94.3% reported that they felt distressed because of this. So just imagine as a student, as a high school student, and I'm not saying just imagine if you are an LGBT high school student, imagine if you are a parent of one of these kids, right, that has to feel distressed the entire day at school that they cannot sit there and learn safely, which is what they're there to do. And again, another reason why it's so important for everyone to come out for safer spaces where LGBT people learn in this situation. 56% of students reported hearing homophobic remarks from their teachers or other school staff, and nearly 64% of students reported hearing negative remarks about gender expression from teachers or other school staff. So it's not only the kids that their fellow youth or kids that our young LGBT kids are hearing these negative remarks about, anti-gay, anti-LGBT remarks about, but they're also hearing it from their teachers and school staff. Again, another reason why today is so important to come out for safer spaces. 54% of students who are out or perceived to be transgender were verbally harassed, 24% were physically attacked, and 13% were sexually assaulted because of their actual or perceived identity. This is the real hard data that exists. LGBT student athletes experience twice the amount of hostility and exclusionary conduct as their peers. And as we have seen, there are not as many LGBT athletes that have come out in professional sports. We've seen a few over the last couple of years, and most of them are not active players, they're retired. So it's real important that folks come out today, coaches and other athletic staff come out for safer spaces on the ball field or on the court so that our LGBT athletes can truly live their dream. 4 in 5 LGBT adults regard major faith groups as unfriendly to their community. So growing up as LGBT, many folks don't believe their church or their synagogue are welcoming places, and many times have to make a choice. Do I live as an LGBT person, or do I live as a Catholic or Jewish person or Muslim? And no one should have to make that choice. Everyone should be able to be their true, authentic selves in all ways possible. So with that, that's some of the, and I'll talk a little bit later about what we're doing to help here on Long Island and what's taking place and how everyone else could get involved as well. But, I just gave you the statistics. Now, behind these numbers are real people. And it's real important that all the voices are heard today. And so I'd like to bring up Aaron, who's going to talk about when he was student teaching in the Northport School District on Long Island, how he was harassed and basically told, don't come out, particularly until you have tenure. Otherwise, you won't have a job in education. So it's my pleasure to bring up Aaron Braun, who's also a community educator at the LGBT Network.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Happy National Coming Out Day. My name is Aaron, and about 4 years ago, I was student teaching on Long Island. Super excited to be teaching at home where I grew up. And a lot of what I learned in school was bringing cross-curricular content. So I was like, perfect, I'm a math teacher, it's kind of hard to bring in different areas. So I created a problem where I said, okay, we've got Nigerian LGBT refugees coming to the States, because that was current events at the time. Also at the time, gay marriage hadn't been legalized across the board. So there were still just a handful of states that had it legalized. So I said, what is the probability that one of those LGBT refugees will end up in a state that has gay marriage legalized? I thought it was fantastic. I was super excited about the question. My host teacher said, absolutely not. You cannot present this question. I didn't really understand, so I didn't present it. The following day, after my lesson, he said, your lesson was a little bit boring today. I need you to spice things up a little bit more. So that's when I opened up a dialogue and said, well, I tried to create some more interesting questions, but you shot me down with that. that turned into a discussion going back and forth of why I thought it was an appropriate question versus why they thought it was an inappropriate question. And this happened in the hallway going back to the math office. At the end of that conversation, I came out as transgender. And I said, listen, the way you so vehemently rejected this question, it kind of made me feel super uncomfortable. So let's try and figure out a way that we can move forward from this. At that point in time, it was the weekend, so I figured, all right, let me decompress. I'll forget about this. I've got 10 days left of student teaching before I graduate. So coming back in on Monday, I'm doing prep for my second period class. And I have the math department come down, the secretary come say, you're needed in the principal's office. So I walk in on a meeting with the principal, my host teacher, and the head of the math department, saying how I acted wildly unprofessional, and if I was hired full-time staff, I would have been dismissed immediately based on my actions. So I kind of furthered that conversation and said, I don't understand what was so wrong with that question. It was current events. I was told that, oh no, like we're okay with LGBT students, but we even have a GSA club. I furthered the conversation saying, yes, that's great and fantastic, but by me not presenting this question in class, we make it seem like it's not okay to talk about this, only during that specified time. The conversation continued further. I actually ended up being dismissed for the rest of the day. They said, let's kind of take a break and reconnect. I had reached out to my original placement and said, listen, I'm having some issues in my current spot. Is there any possibility that I can finish out with you? After that conversation, they said, we can't really help you out. We're starting testing. It would do you a disservice. So then I call back out to the Northport district and say, listen, I want to apologize for how I acted. I want to move forward. I want to finish out strong with these last 10 days. I was then told, oh, we've had a meeting with the superintendent and we actually don't want you to come back and finish your placement here or in any other school within this district. So I was dismissed. I had 10 days left. I was now in jeopardy of not graduating. So I reached back out to my original district in the Simpson School District in South Huntington. And after I explained my situation, they said, listen, we're not going to let you not graduate based on 10 days. So they invited me back and worked things out. But kind of after that, that was really when I recognized, okay, until I get tenure, if I see a disjustice or a disservice being done, I really shouldn't open my mouth because I'm not going to have much of a leg to stand on. And that's kind of when the switch happened for me. I love to educate people, so I thought maybe traditional education isn't the proper route for me because I really want to bring about that social change. And that's when I found the LGBT network. I applied, and then within a month, I was called back, interviewed, and hired, and I've been here ever since. And it's really been a phenomenal experience to now be able to go out and work with students, work with faculties, work in the community, and just get this education out there. That at the end of the day, we just want to respect everyone, right? We are all people. There is so much diversity within this world. Right? It's so important that even if we don't understand it, even if we don't agree with it, we just want to respect every single individual just based on the fact that, hey, you're another person living, breathing, existing on this planet with me. And that's the work that the LGBT network allows me to do. So I get to go out there with libraries. I get to go out there with hospitals. I get to go out with teachers, mental health providers, and just get that education and awareness out there that it's still not a very safe space for LGBT individuals, and we really need to put in that work to make that change. So again, I'm so honored that I've been a part of that change that the LGBT network has been doing across Long Island. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
And there are dozens more of Aarons that are experiencing harassment in their jobs currently, and a lot of folks, while they may come to us for guidance and support, will not talk about it publicly because if they do, most likely they're going to lose their job, even though it's against the law, right? It's against the law, but to be able to prove that is very difficult. So a lot of folks who are harassed at their workplace, will not come forward publicly to speak about it because they may lose their job. And then how do they pay their rent? How do they pay their mortgage? How do they take care of their family? How do they pay for food for the week? And so a lot of people are weighing on just sort of the advice that Aaron was given by his advisor to say, listen, if you want to be a teacher in this school and you want to be out or talk about LGBT issues, don't do so until you're tenured because you're going to lose your job. And so many people go to work each day hiding a very important part of themselves. And sometimes people don't understand they say, well, why do you have to announce that you're gay in the workplace? But, you know, for folks who are watching this and for everyone else, we know that when we go into the workplace, we talk about our families. We talk about what we did on the weekend. Where did we go? Who did we go with? And it's sort of that water fountain or coffee talk that you may have in talking about your personal lives. And for many LGBT folks, they feel that they have to keep that important part of themselves hidden. And that's an incredible stress to be walking around in the workplace or in school or in your church or on the athletic field to not, be your true, authentic self. And so today, when we have nearly 250,000 people that are wearing the rainbow ribbon and coming out for safe spaces in the workplace, in the schools, it's going to make a huge difference for everyone in Nassau and Suffolk County, that people won't have to carry that weight on their shoulder and will be able to just be themselves, which will in turn make them more productive employees and more productive students and more productive athletes. So, while it's the right thing to do to have safer spaces for everyone, it's also good business too. And just as important is having our leaders in government be able to stand up and come out for safer spaces. And there's really no one that has done that in the Suffolk County Legislature more than our presiding officer, Dwayne Gregory, who, for as long as he's been in office, he has been a staunch advocate for the LGBT network and Long Island gay and lesbian youth, but also, for the services, but also for the rights of folks and to create safer spaces. And Dwayne has always been there for the community out front. And so it's my pleasure to bring up the presiding officer of the Suffolk County Legislature, our friend in government and just our friend, period, Dwayne Gregory.
It's a pleasure to be here with Dave Kilmnick and LGBT Network, and to hear Aaron's story is just amazing. I pray for your strength, your continued strength to face the challenges as they come upon you, and I know you will do well in those challenges because you carry yourself with strength and compassion, and I believe those who do that will always come out on top. So again, Presiding Officer Dwayne Gregory, and I want to thank the LGBT Network, particularly CEO David Kilmnick, for helping raise awareness of an important and, quite frankly, unacceptable issue. Despite the legal and societal changes that have occurred over the years, our LGBT community is seeing an increase in harassment in school and at the workplace. This is a deep-seated issue that cannot be accepted or ignored. In the workplace, 1 in 4 LGBT employees report experiencing employment discrimination in the last 5 years, and 9 in 10 transgender employees say they experienced harassment or mistreatment on the job or took steps to avoid it. In schools, studies show that lesbian, gay, and bisexual and transgender students still often hear homophobic remarks from their peers. We are living in a divisive political climate that is reaching every corner of our country. Here in Suffolk County, we are seeing an uptick in hate group activity. Today, on National Coming Out Day, we send a message that there is no room for hate in this world. Every single person deserves to feel safe in their homes, in their schools, in their workplace, no matter their sexual orientation, or for that matter, color of their skin or religion. As a personal matter, I stand before you as an elected county official, but I am also an LGBT parent. And I still remember the day that my son, Julian, came out to me. He was 12 years old. He's going to be 23, November 18th. And many of the fears that I had in that conversation, I don't remember the date. I don't think it was today. It was during the summer. But a lot of the fears just quickly ran through my head as a parent through Aaron's story. And he was telling it, I'm sitting there and I'm standing there and I'm thinking, wow, because you understand that that there's a lot of bigotry and hatred. Obviously, that's not acceptable. But as a parent, you want to protect your child from all that hate in the world, and quite frankly, you know, internally in our family, his older brother did not accept it. He was 16. It was a shock to him, but he loves his brother and he's grown to accept it. But at the, you know, it was a trying times for our family for a few months with his brother. But having said that, our world, our country, and the rights of the LGBT community has expanded so greatly, but we still are lagging behind in acceptance. We're still facing these challenges that Aaron talks about, and that is just completely unacceptable. So anytime that we can bring awareness and talk about safe places, creating safe places for individuals so that they can feel that they can be themselves. You know, I'm an African American male. There's no hiding that. And no one should ever hide who they are. You know, me being African American is as much of my identity as Aaron's sexuality that you may or may not be aware of unless he tells you. But it's still all the more important that individuals be able to live their true selves in their lives and be happy wherever they are, particularly in schools and in workplaces where we spend hours of our day, the majority of our time. You want to build those relationships with your colleagues, and to feel like you can't be your true self is just heartbreaking. It's really heart-wrenching. And those who create a hostile work environment, it's awareness like this that we put them on notice that their behavior and their actions are not acceptable, and that we're going to push back and fight back for equality for everyone, so that everyone can feel that they can be who they are. And I certainly stand behind that, and I will do all that I can and continue to do all that I can to support David and the community's efforts for true equality. So thank you for coming out here today.
So just quickly, I just want to talk about what we're doing to help and how other folks can help too. Obviously, to just talk about it. Talk about LGBT issues. Talk about if you're a parent, whether you have an LGBT child or not, that you may have a nephew or a niece or a brother or a sister. And just simply by talking about it, gets the conversation going. You know, what we're doing here to help when we talk about live, learn, work, play, and pray, here on Long Island, we're going to have the first affordable LGBT and LGBT-friendly senior housing complex that just got approved last week by the Islip Town Board in Bayshore. It's going to be 75 units of 100% affordable housing with an expanded LGBT center as part of that complex. It's going to be the first in the tri-state area. So what we're looking at here with the leadership of Dwayne Gregory, our friends in government, working collaboratively with the LGBT network, we're making Long Island a place unlike any other in the metro area. And so that the construction will start on that next June. And we're going to see a lottery and, again, have the Tri-State's first LGBT and LGBT-friendly senior housing program so that people can live here as LGBT folks in a safe space. In terms of learning, we're out, the LGBT network is out in over 110 of Long Island's 127 school districts. You know, that's what Aaron and some other folks do at the organizations. We're out there working with faculty, with students, with parent groups, with PTAs, working together on providing education and training, anti-bullying work, and helping to meet people where they're at. You know, one of the things that I think all Long Islanders could be proud of is that we have folks from all different political parties, political affiliations, all different religions, all different sexual orientations that are coming together on common ground to create these safer spaces. In terms of helping LGBT people to be able to work in a safe space, the LGBT network implemented a workplace training initiative that goes into workplaces and helps craft policies, LGBT affirming policies, and working environments. And many of Long Island's workplaces are beginning to take advantage of that. And that's something that everyone could do. In terms of play, as most folks may know, and I'm a little biased because this is my favorite baseball team, but the LGBT Network ran the first ever Pride Night in major sports, major professional sports leagues in the New York area with the New York Mets 2 years ago. And next year we're going to have our third, August 4th, 2018. In fact, you're getting the scoop. We haven't announced that date yet. And so what we're doing is bringing tens of thousands of people together for one night at Citi Field to be able to have a safe place to be able to root your team on. But that message goes a lot further than that to folks who want to be Major League Baseball players and to fans who want to go the entire year to see the Mets play, no matter how bad they may do. And in terms of praying, we started an LGBT faith roundtable this year that brings together leaders of communities of faith from across Long Island to work together to discuss ways that we could make places of worship more welcoming to LGBT people. So today, what we could do, besides wearing the ribbon, besides 250,000 people across Long Island and across the country wearing this ribbon for the LGBT Network campaign, folks can go to weartheribbon.org and sign a safe space pledge. Take the pledge that no matter where you live, no matter where you learn, no matter where you work, no matter where you play, or no matter where you pray, that you're going to be part of a movement to create a safe space for LGBT folks and show support. And just want to thank everyone for coming today. If we could open it up to questions.
Aaron, can you just say and spell your full name so we have it on camera?
Sure, absolutely. So Aaron, Aaron, Braun, Braun.
And you had said you are transgender?
Yes,
So the pronoun you prefer to use?
he and him.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And in fact, Aaron is wearing stickers that people will be wearing all across the island and in the workplace, all across the island, in schools, workplace, faith, I don't know how many will be there, but in faith institutions where people are going to be wearing the stickers for their gender pronouns. And so it's, we also have, I don't know if we have it with us, ally stickers. And this is for folks to, when we first started this campaign, people said, well, I'm not gay, so why am I participating in National Coming Out Day? And the campaign today is not about coming out as LGBT, but it's coming out for safer spaces. So we also have these stickers which show people wear this today while they're handing out, do you have the other information too, the palm cards? God, we should be prepared and have this stuff up here. That people will wear these ally stickers to show that they're an ally of the LGBT community and that they're coming out for safe spaces. And then you have the version of the poster here that is up all over the place. And in fact, if you follow the LGBT Network Facebook page today, many schools and many institutions are already posting what they're doing. The South Country Library, which is traditionally a very conservative in the Bellport area, is participating, and they just posted some pictures up today about what's happening there. Seaford High School GSA posted already this morning, and there's a number of other groups that have already posted what is going on. And so there is a palm card version of this, and then on the back it provides why we are doing this campaign. So you have the ally sticker, you have the palm card, you have the poster, you have the rainbow ribbon. People are getting lots of good stuff, lots of tchotchkes, but also lots of really good educational information to hand out. And so our hope is to grow this even more, that every Long Island business, every Long Island school will be participating in National Coming Out Day to come out for safer spaces on October 11th, or if it falls on Columbus Day, it'll be on a different day, but on as close to October 11th as possible, and then that extends beyond the day to the other 364 days for the year.